Tonight on the Into the Dark After Show, we're talking Thanksgiving with the Flesh and Blood Into the Dark. I guess it's the next season of the anthology. Poor Kim. We're going to talk all about it. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
It's turkey time. Tom Turkey ran away, but he just came home.
I don't know. It's the only Thanksgiving song I know.
I love it.
It fits so perfectly.
It does. It's good. And I just love that, it's not December yet. And I love Christmas. But it's not December yet, so we're not quite into that.
No.
I feel like we're still still
at
on
the
the
forgotten
Thanksgiving.
holiday.
Yes, exactly. Like, it's still Thanksgiving time. I love that with this we still got Thanksgiving horror, which was really cool. Yeah. Welcome to the Into the Dark After Show. We're going to talk about Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about horror. I'm here with my lovely co-host. I've got Bri Phipps.
Hey, everybody.
And I'm Zia Anderson. We're excited to get started. Before we dive into just all of it, Kim's agoraphobia. Then she has those crazy suspicions about her father, and that ending. Oh my God! Before we get into all of that, what did you think about the movie as a whole?
I really enjoyed this movie. I liked this one better than the first one, for sure. It seemed more cohesive. It had more of a plot points to it, and even though I mean, not right away, but even though once we got into it, it was pretty obvious what was going to happen, even though I kept I was like, there might be a twist. I don't know. But there wasn't. But it was still not something necessarily that I expected completely, and it was still fun to kind of take that journey with them and with her figuring it all out.
Yeah, I definitely agree that I liked this one much better than the last one. Although I still enjoyed the last one, but this one had more everything that I was looking for. It had more of the suspense for me that I liked a lot. And absolutely, you did know kind of what was going to happen, but there were definitely points where I was like, okay, but are they actually showing it just from the point of view that she is being crazy? Mm-hmm. And it's making it look more suspicious than it is.
That's what I was like. I was like, even though it's very obvious at this point that he is the killer, I was like, they could choose to have that twist still be that she is just crazy.
Right.
That it is what he is saying. They didn't. They didn't. But they could have.
And I liked that. I appreciated that they kind of kept you on the edge of your seat there for a little bit. And then when you actually find out what it was, you're still like, I knew it, but oh my God.
Also, it was fun to see Dermot Mulroney because ever since my best friend's wedding, I've just loved him so much.
He was also in, have you ever seen New Girl?
Yes.
He was also, he was in like a few episodes of New Girl, and I love seeing him in that. So and I feel like that was the last thing I've seen him in, so.
I feel like my best friend's wedding, that was like the first thing that introduced me to him, and I just always remember him from the scar on his lip.
Yeah, he ages like fine wine. He still looks amazing. It's incredible. But now he's out there playing dads. I can't believe it. He played a great dad.
I feel like he could almost be grandfathered pretty soon.
You're right. He could have young grandchildren.
He had the gray hair and the wrinkles going, so he was an older dad. His daughter was late.
17.
Did they say her age?
Her 17th birthday.
Right.
Was around that time. So
she
was. She could have kids.
She could soon. Or already.
Already, yeah.
If it wasn't for her agoraphobia.
I know. So getting into that is a great segue. Thank you, Bri. So getting into that, her agoraphobia, what I love so much about, especially the beginning of this movie, is how it almost tricked you into thinking it's just a regular movie about a young girl trying to get over agoraphobia. I was so invested in that part of it that I was finding myself so curious. I was like, okay, well, why is she agoraphobic? How did this start? I wanted to know all of that. What did you think of?
I also thought it was interesting because when we read the description last month of it, we just knew that it was, she's trapped in her house and she has to get out. And so the obvious way to go for that would have been, someone broke into her house or something along those lines, and they chose not to. They had the calls coming from inside the house kind of vibes going. And I really enjoyed that part of it because how do you escape? Not only you can't escape your house, but it's also your family.
Yeah. And then she has that double, I guess, sort of a challenge of, first of all, trying to, like you said, escape her family. She has to get away from her father, who is a murderer. And also just getting outside is an issue. She just wants to like leave, but she can't. Like that's
I loved the kind of that they made the camera be her.
Yeah.
What she's kind of feeling.
yes.
Because when she was outside and it all started shaking and the sound started getting louder, that, I don't have agoraphobia, so I can't relate in those ways, but it kind of gave me a little bit of feeling of what it might be like for somebody to have to go through that.
Well, and a lot of it too is I don't have agoraphobia either, but I've had panic disorders and just going outside, and that is sort of triggers panic attacks from what I've looked up. So that actually is pretty accurate, and it makes it very relatable because it sort of does feel like that. Like sometimes you can't see straight, you can't really breathe well, your heart starts beating really fast. You kind of have this like weird out of body experience. It's really strange. Like you don't necessarily feel your limbs, they start to tingle. So I appreciate that they kind of gave you that so you realize the severity of her issue and how hard it is for her to actually go outside. And I like the way that they showed trying to get the package. Even just her trying to put her hand out to get the mail was hard.
What a lazy mailman.
Right?
That he left it just sitting on the edge of the porch. Like, you can't just take it up. It's raining.
Yeah, and also he put the mail in the box, so just put the box under the box where the mail goes. So it's like right there.
But we wouldn't have our intense scene if he did that. But I was also just like, you're a lazy mailman. This is your job.
You had one job. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. But it did. It showed how intense and how hard it was for her to actually go anywhere. So I did appreciate that a lot. I like the agoraphobic aspect of it. And it made for a really interesting movie because it was very, what I liked about it too, it was very contained. There weren't a lot of characters, so you really focus on the few characters that there are.
I mean, basically there's two characters.
Yeah.
There is the psychiatrist as well, but she's so minor.
It's just a small part, yeah.
And then other than that, the other people we have, her Aunt Judy, and this girl that died.
So
but,
yeah,
but they're not present in the film. They're just people that they're talked about.
Thrown out there, yeah. Yeah.
And obviously we have the two officers, but again, they're just very minor parts. I looked up the IMDb list and like the credits go to Henry, Dr. Sanders, Officer Foster, newscaster radio show host, Kimberly, and Officer Banks. So those are our 6 speaking characters in this. And of those speaking characters, only 2 have more than a few scenes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting though that they didn't list Kim's mom, which I know she played a pretty small part, but she was still in there because I noticed that too, and I was like, wait, where's her mom?
She's like, must be uncredited or something.
Yeah, maybe, which is interesting. But she played, I guess a big part in her own way. So when we get to, Kim goes through the whole time with her father, and actually, I even in my notes, when I was first writing this out, was like, well, she has a really great supportive father after she went through such an ordeal. She lost her mom, and you find out, that the killer is still on the loose. I'm like, oh, okay, I can understand how that would trigger agoraphobia completely. You feel safe inside. The killer's still out there somewhere you don't know. I love the irony that the killer is actually in the house with her. But what I found so interesting about her, what he does is he gives her the necklace. And she's watching the news and she sees, and at first I'm thinking, well, this is terrible for her to be watching the news about these young girls going missing because that's not helping her agoraphobia. If she sees that there's more stuff like this happening out in the world, it's not going to make her want to go out anymore. It's probably not a good idea that she's watching the news. But then it comes up with the necklace. And to me, it was so quick how she
put it together.
Yes.
Yeah, because I feel like most people's first thoughts would be just, oh, she has the same necklace as I do. Not that, oh, this necklace. Unless I can't remember if her dad maybe said it was a pawn shop. I also just want to call out that we do have 2 people in our chat right now. And I see that one of you said, can we see your comments? I am in the chat, so I'm reading along. So if you have any thoughts on anything that we're talking about, just chime in and I'll maybe shout you out.
Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. And actually, before we get into Kim's crazy suspicions and how we got onto all of that, we all appreciate you so much for watching with us and for tuning in. And Bria has a very special message for all of you.
Yes, I do. Hey, AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, literally anything you can think of. We cover it here. So we need your help, though, to keep being able to produce as much as we do. So if you are watching this, go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you watch our other shows, subscribe to those ones as well. And we will help you guys to bring you more of what you want to see. And you will help us by keeping us up together and to date and helping us grow as a studio. And if you're worried about those pesky notifications, you don't have to be because they're optional. You can just hit that little bell and ding them off. So hit that subscribe button now for an even better AfterBuzz TV experience. Let us know you did, and we will shout you out in our comment. Let us know in the comments, and we'll shout you out on air. And for now, just thank you guys for being the best fans and helping us be the best of TV talk.
Yay! Yes, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. And we're not just on YouTube, we're actually on iTunes as well and Spotify. So it also really would help us out if you'd go to iTunes and hit that subscribe button, give us 5 stars because 1 through 4 doesn't work. So 5 stars, guys.
And if you're on YouTube, thumbs it up.
Thumbs it up. Yeah, we really appreciate you guys tuning in. And we do this for you and for the love of it all. So thank you so much. Anyway, on to Kim's suspicions. I thought it was, like you said, it was so crazy how quickly she put that together and suspected her father, because that would be, honestly, the last place my mind would go.
It was also, I mean, I guess it's lucky that she just got the necklace, because otherwise you might not be paying, I guess, as much attention.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, maybe I'm just not as observant. Maybe she's just very observant person, and she does have a lot of time on her hands.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if I would have picked that detail out, like, oh, look at that necklace right there.
No, I probably wouldn't have. And the funny thing about that, too, is that I would have just thought, oh, that girl's the same necklace as me. Wow, that's really weird and crazy. But she actually gets the necklace, holds it up, and is like, oh, this is used.
I didn't even catch it when she, like, rewound it. I was like, why is she rewinding it?
Nope, same.
I thought maybe she knew the girl. I don't know. And then she put the necklace up, and I was like, oh.
It's the same necklace.
Good catch.
I know. I thought that was the craziest thing ever. And what's even, like, what I thought was even more crazy is that and that's why I thought that she got suspicious so quickly. And that's why I thought, hey, maybe it was just her being overly paranoid and crazy, especially after that whole conversation. I like just those little nuances that they threw in there to kind of try to throw you off.
Yeah, they tried to really get you to be like, is this something she's making up in her head, or is it real? Because
there's a way that, you shoot something from someone's perspective, so it really does look like it's, from what they're seeing.
I mean, and it's true, it's been proven, they use it all the time in criminal cases, when people are in solitary confinement, that it can have effects on their mental state.
Mm-hmm.
So being agoraphobic and not being able to leave your house and just being stuck in there all the day, it would have a toll on your mental state.
Yeah, and on top of that, being on medication.
Yeah.
So they did a really nice job of kind of setting you up.
Plugging that medication in.
Yep, being like, oh, well, she could easily be paranoid. And the father seemed a little sketchy. And all of those clues, I mean, as soon as you see the necklace, and then when she goes in and you see those weird, creepy drawings in his room.
Oh, yeah.
Where all the pictures have been pulled out of the picture book. Photo album. That's the word I was looking for. Picture book? No. That all of the photos had been pulled out of the photo album. There's all those weird, creepy, dark drawings. And I was like, okay, that's a little bit weird. So that's when I started suspecting.
I know that it's a thing. Because she finds the little case that has all the jewelry in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's a thing that serial killers like to keep treasures.
Yeah.
And I get that he thought he was hiding it. But if you have a daughter who literally won't leave the house, maybe put it outside, like bury it in the ground outside.
Yes.
You have plenty of options of places she won't go.
The
attic is not one.
Yeah, seriously. You don't think she's going to get bored and go snooping one day?
Or like miss her mom and want to go look at her things.
Yeah. And his reaction.
It also makes me wonder with the renovation. Sorry to sidetrack it, but
no,
was he planning on maybe putting bodies in the walls or something? What are all these renovations? Like, I don't know. My mind goes to these places. What are these renovations here for? I've watched too many horror films where they bury people in the houses. Where you're trying to make your own little graveyard house somehow.
Maybe. That's definitely a possibility. Because I would assume that he wouldn't, like, bring live girls there, but you never know. He was obviously drugging them.
Yeah. And, you have the security that your daughter won't leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
So and she goes to bed and she's on medication, so you could feasibly get people in without her knowing, or even if she did eventually notice, then she's stuck. What is she gonna do? You just take away her phone.
Which is what he tried to do. He got that was That was a weird one because when we got to that point, I pretty much suspected him. When did you start suspecting him? Was it right away?
I think when she noticed the necklace, I was a little bit there. And then I think 100% once we found the picture or the photo album and the suitcase in the attic.
The
I
jewelry
was
with
like,
the blood.
this is a little too coincidental. Like, even if they're like, they still could twist it, but I'm thinking, I don't know.
Yeah. What did you guys think? Let us know in the chat what you thought. At what point you started to become suspicious, or were you ever? Did you think she was just being paranoid the entire time? Because it had me a little bit back and forth for a little while there, but I think I was pretty much all in when she found the sedative.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because she found it in the trash, and there was a moment when I thought, well, maybe he's just taking it himself, but
I think there's just part of me that didn't want him to be,
because
I love him.
Yeah, because you want
As
him
the
to be
actor.
the hero, and he seemed like such a great dad in the beginning.
yeah, and with the
He really
Thanksgiving
did.
dinner and her mom and him going through, like, that they're all thankful for each other. Like, it
It was nice. It
was sweet.
Yeah, it was really sweet, and him wanting to have Thanksgiving together and making her a
But here's the
cake
thing,
and-
he, to the end, never admitted to killing her mom. We think that he did kill her mom? Or do we think that someone else actually did that?
No, he did. He was, for the longest time, he wouldn't. And then he finally did in a weird moment because her mom found out what he was doing.
No, I remember that whole part of it, but it just, he never physically would
Oh,
say,
would never
"I
say,
did."
yeah, he did it.
I just wonder if he had, like, a partner. Maybe his partner did. That's how he could get around it.
Maybe. So he didn't actually kill the mom. I thought that he killed her.
I mean, I'm sure
But-
he did. That's what they were basically
Right.
saying. I just like to play devil's advocate. Like, maybe that he didn't.
Maybe he didn't actually kill
Because
her.
I just, at some point, you think that he would have fessed up.
Yeah, and I kept thinking that he was gonna say exactly how he did everything, kind of letting it all out, because he really, really, really didn't want to admit that he was a murderer. He was really trying to keep everything under wraps, which I understand. He didn't want to kill his daughter, which it turns out he actually did it all for her in a weird sort of way, even though that
I feel
logic...
like that's like a justification. Like, you didn't
No.
actually do it for her. You did it for
No.
yourself.
Yeah, so he actually, that's what I thought. He actually enjoyed it, but he was just saying that he was doing it for her to protect her from all of these girls, which that was a very weak.
All these girls that look just like her mom in some way or another.
Yeah. And that's what serial killers do. They target a certain look of women, whether it's all blondes or all brunettes, or, they all tend to look very similar, and they kind of, that's definitely something I've seen and heard of before. So maybe he was just a serial killer that got caught. He never wanted to kill his family, but the mom was
I
the
don't
one...
think he did want to kill his family, but obviously if the mom found out and was trying to get her away, he felt that she, he felt, I'm trying to think of the right word, but
Trapped?
not like even trapped, but, just that she's going to go, she's going to tell him, or she's going to take the things he loves away. So he had to. And, I don't think he was doing everything in his power, because it could have been very easy for him just to kill his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
But he kept choosing not to. So I think he didn't want to kill his family. And even when we get to the part where he's eventually going to kill her, it's because he's going to kill himself too.
Yeah.
So I don't think I think he does love his daughter. And I think he does want her, but he also has that part of him that wants to kill other people.
Just not his baby. just the
He just
other
wants-
girls that are all
But wow, his
brunette
change
and-
from being a really sweet dad to being like screaming in her face dad was pretty intense.
was very alarming. I definitely understand why she called the police.
I just wanted her to sound more scared on the phone to the police, because even when she has him knocked out and she's talking to them the second time, she just seems very like laissez-faire about everything.
Yeah, and I would almost argue to say that would be the medication, but she hadn't been taking it
Yeah.
because everything that was going on, she forgot.
Like, I
Obviously.
love the scenes in person with the police where it's like, and even the psychiatrist, that where she's just like visibly not okay,
Mhm.
and she's trying to be like, no, I'm fine, but you can tell in her eyes that she's not. Like, I loved those scenes. It's just that one scene with her on the phone, I was like, this doesn't seem believable. Like, I feel like you'd be a little bit more urgent, a little more freaked out.
A little less calm. It was maybe a little bit too calm. I actually can kind of agree with that. Speaking of which, that scene with the psychiatrist was a really good one.
Yeah, and they did a good job of making you kind of not like the psychiatrist with her probing her in the very first session. And and kind of almost not being on her side, like making you feel like she wants to lock her up, like she can't stay in this house, like she needs help, and being a little too abrasive with asking questions. So they did a good job of making you not really want to be on the psychiatrist side even. And then she got
Yeah, I know. I
got
was
it bad.
wondering if she was going to get out, but as soon as I think he saw the paper fall, I was like, "Oh, that's the
I didn't
end."
know if he saw the paper fall
Oh, okay.
because it was on her shoe the entire time out, and then when she steps and it falls off her shoe.
See, I thought
Then
he was
I thought that originally,
Uh-huh.
but then I think he wouldn't have been so calm about her leaving the house, even with it on her shoe.
with it on her shoe, yeah.
And then when it gets off the shoe, Kimberly looks down, and that's when everybody looks down
And that's when the psychiatrist sees it
and picks it up,
and picks it up.
and it says help,
Call
call
911.
911.
And that's when
And
everything
then
changes.
and then her eyes do the like, and then he has the box cutter, just yanks her.
That was a pretty good death. We're not see. This is what we did the last segment the last show. We did the segment of the best death. This show we're gonna do our special segment's gonna be a little bit different because there are only 2 deaths, but just of those 2 since we did it last time. Do you have?
I don't
a
know. They're
favorite?
both so bad. Like
really bad.
hers was quicker, but she got I like that they showed him like slitting her throat twice, because I feel like in movies all the time you see one quick easy slit and they're gone, and so I liked that it showed that he was like, I have to get through this, and I really loved the effect of the blood splatter on the renovation kind of sheet.
Yeah,
But his death was just so intense and long,
was so
and
brutal.
like it kept going back to him like flesh burning away. So they were equally good in their own right, but I guess if I had to go with one over the other, his was more satisfying.
Yes, it was more satisfying, and it was definitely more brutal because and the worst part of that one, I think, more than just what a spectacular death it was that first she lost her mother, and then she had to find out her father was a serial killer, and then she had to watch him burn to death.
And she had to watch him kill someone in front of her eyes.
Yes.
That was another thing. She was way too calm after.
That I feel like at that point, that's when you
Maybe
lose
she was
it.
just in shock. I'm gonna put it that she was in shock, and that's why she was so calm in those instances after the psychiatrist's death.
Yes, that's a really good point because otherwise you would be losing your freaking mind. And I definitely thought we'll get to the ending in a minute. But I definitely thought that at the end, she was a little too happy. Like, I understand that it was a weird, actually, we'll just get to it now. It was a weird, like, bittersweet thing that she finally got outside and was okay being outside. She wasn't freaking out because there were, I think, was it 2 or 3 instances where she tried to leave the house?
There was only the first instance where she actually tried to leave the house.
And then she tried
And got outside.
Yeah.
But there was the other instances where she thought about leaving, and then it freaked her out too much to be able to go.
Right. So that was when she was going to go stay with her aunt for a little bit.
Yeah.
But she couldn't make it outside.
Well, she was going to say, her aunt, she left a voice message, and then she never
Yeah.
got the call back in time either. Because by the time her aunt called her back, her dad was already home.
And it was too late.
So we don't even know if she would have been able to. That would have been an interesting thing, though, if she told her aunt but then couldn't get out the door.
That would have been a good one. But she can't. So she finally gets out at the end. But I feel like so it's a nice kind of satisfying thing when she finally gets outside and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm outside. I escaped the serial killer. But the serial killer was her father. And after that entire ordeal, I don't know if I would be smiling outside waiting for the cops to be there.
I think I would just be like crying at that point.
Yeah, just like a crying heap on the grass, waiting for the cops to come and being like, what is my life now? Now what do I do?
I also just like, I don't, like, obviously it's not the worst case scenario to have him die because he is a terrible person, but I always love when they choose not to have them die because I like to see the kind of validation of like him getting arrested.
Yeah.
And like having to live with knowing that people know this about him, but second best thing is death.
Yeah, and that was definitely a really, really painful way to go out. I heard it's the worst. How
do you
does
hear
anyone
it?
know that?
How do you hear that's
I
the
don't
words?
know. Because people say, I don't know who these people are, but people say that burning to death is the most painful way you can die. But I don't know how anyone would know that. Except that just burning is really painful.
I feel like there's multiple very painful ways
There
to die.
has to be, yeah. But that's still a really brutal way to go out. But yeah, it would have been kind of nice to see him get arrested. I mostly just...
Even if he still got burnt, but they put him out and then arrest him, then he's disfigured and going to jail.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. But I still just, the entire time, like, I still just felt really bad for Kimberly.
Yeah. I mean, she's in a very terrible predicament, and she has this horrible thing stopping her from being able to even, like, live her life.
Yeah.
She's 17 years old and is stuck in a house.
That's really rough. And then on top of it, you find out your dad's a serial killer, which I feel like that's something you don't ever really think about, because when you hear about serial killers, typically they don't have families. I think there have been a couple that have.
Or they usually don't have children.
They usually don't have children. They usually have wives.
Mm-hmm. And the wives are like their accomplices.
Yeah, they're involved somehow. Yeah, they don't usually have a normal family and then are just
And women
out.
are very, very rarely ever serial killers. There are some, but it's more predominantly white males that tend to be serial killers.
That tend to be serial killers for whatever reason. But yeah, so it's interesting. You never really think about someone who has managed to, make a normal life for themselves and try to live those two worlds.
Yeah.
And how eventually, I just thought it was kind of a stupid move for him to actually give her the necklace.
Yeah. Like,
That
why not
seems
just go get
crazy.
her a necklace?
Just a new. Did you really see that from the girl and was like, yeah, I really want to, this necklace is great. She would really love it. I'm going to give her this necklace of this missing girl. That's not
But
weird.
they have to have they have to have the slip up so that we can progress the story.
Yeah, I know. It happens every single time where I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But
The true telling
You
point
need
of
it.
her figuring it all out because he drops the earring that she didn't see before. And that's his little trophy from his obvious last kill. I also love that he has to leave the house on Thanksgiving Day
yeah.
to make a kill.
Do you think that it's like a compulsion with him
Maybe.
that he has to do it?
I also just wonder how long he was doing this for. Like, was it a year? Was it her entire life?
Well, when she looked up all of those missing girls in the area, there were quite a lot of them. And he does have the creepy killer van, and he was doing it since before the mom had died.
Yeah, I don't know.
So God knows how long that was for. I'll just, protect her from the outside girls. So when she does go out in the world, no one's a bad influence on her. I still find that so hard to believe.
Yeah,
That's such a hard one for me to buy.
yeah, I don't buy that one.
No, not at all. Do you guys buy that one?
He
Let us
wanted
know in the
to kill,
comments.
and he came up with the story on the spot, and that was the
Yeah.
best he could do.
He was like, I was just trying to protect you, Kim. Well, I definitely enjoyed the whole thing. I did really like the ending. Even though it was a little bit odd that she was smiling and laughing when she got out. Since it takes place on Thanksgiving, our fun little segment for today is we're going to talk about what dishes you would kill someone if they messed up, because everyone has their favorite thing. Yeah, seriously, I will stuff you if you mess up my stuffing. Because we all have that one thing that we look forward to most on Thanksgiving. If someone ruins that dish, how upset would you be?
Yeah.
Murderously upset?
Would you kill somebody?
Would you kill someone? What's that dish? What's your dish, Brie?
So I have my actual dish because it's what I enjoy every year, which is pumpkin pie. So if you're going to mess up the pumpkin pie, I'm going to be really upset because that's what I look forward to every year. But I had also have like a side one because I don't have it at my Thanksgiving, but I love macaroni and cheese. It's like one of my favorite foods of all time. And I know some people have it on Thanksgiving. I really wish maybe I'll just start incorporating it into mine moving forward now that I'm old enough to do that. But I would get really upset too for that. If like you make a dry mac and cheese, I would be so disappointed.
Yeah, or like just kind of a bad quality mac and cheese,
Yeah.
Just if you're going to do mac and cheese,
Like
do
use
it
the
right.
good cheeses, make it
Yeah.
creamy,
Make it big.
make it big.
Put some breadcrumbs
I get,
on it.
it's a lot of people, it's their cheat day. They're going to go
Yeah.
all out. They can eat like their 5,000 calories on this one day.
It's a one day of the entire
So
year.
make that mac and cheese worthy of me stuffing my face.
That's a really good
And
point.
my pie.
And I and my pie.
And my pie.
I love that actually. It's a kind of makes me want to do mac and cheese on Thanksgiving now, because I'm the same. I freaking love mac and cheese. It's one of my favorite foods of all time. And whenever I'm thinking about something deliciously like decadent that I can have, I always want mac and cheese. But I still also like the Kraft boxes.
Yeah.
I think those are always good.
Also, Trader Joe's has the best heated up mac and cheese.
Do they really?
Microwavable one? Yeah. They're like their actual name brand one. It's so good.
Okay, because I just bought, this is off topic a little bit, I just bought the Trader Joe's mac and cheese in a box, and I haven't tried it yet, but I'm about to, and I'm excited.
I don't know about that one, but the frozen one,
Okay,
real good.
that's the one I'm getting into.
It's Eric Nagel in our chat says stuffing. You'd be surprised how many ways people screw this up.
Oh, you are not wrong, sir. And that was actually going to be one of mine. Was stuffing. I made it for the first time this Thanksgiving, and it was actually not bad. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. It was pretty good for a first time stuffing. But I have heard that it's one of the easiest dishes to make, but also one of the easiest dishes to mess up.
Well, I think some people like to get too creative with stuffing, and it ends up ruining it.
Yeah, and also I guess it's really easy to make it too mushy, like it gets mushy really easily, or you can make it too dry. So there's like a nice sweet spot.
But there.
Yeah, so definitely stuffing. And then also I'm with you on pie. Pumpkin pie I like, but I can take it or leave it. I'm more of an apple pie or like a pecan pie person.
I do love pecan pie as well.
It's so sweet and good. So if you mess that up, I'll kill you.
Don't get in the way of our pie.
Seriously. But yeah, so that's been our nice Thanksgiving. I'm glad that we got to stretch Thanksgiving out a little bit longer. And
Yes.
next month we're going to get into our Christmas episode. So, or I guess Christmas episode, Christmas movie.
We can see. We haven't watched it, but for let's get into our news and gossip segment. We can
Ooh, yes.
look into it because we do have the trailer for next month's episode. And while our engineer's queuing that up, I will just give you a little synopsis of what it says it is. A struggling actor gets a holiday season job as a Christmas character in a plush suit to promote the hottest toy of the year, Puka. At first, it's a fun and friendly distraction, but he slowly develops two personalities, one when he's in the suit and one that's outside of it. As Puka slowly starts to take possession of him, the unconventional monster movie is directed by Academy Award-nominated filmmaker Nacho Vigalondo. I'm sorry, I've said that wrong. The visionary behind the acclaimed 2016 kaiju film Colossal.
I'm excited about this.
So it looks like we have the trailer queued up now, so we can go ahead and take a look.
Yay.
Are you from around here?
I'm not. I'm an actor. This is Puka. Need somebody who can bring him to life. But he's unpredictable.
Meet this year's new hottest toy, Puka.
You guys ever watch Colossal?
I have not.
So it's from the same director.
this job.
And
This girl.
he has a very like zany way of well, Colossal is very like kooky and quirky. So I'm looking forward to this one. So this looks like it's right up that same alley of just kookiness, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like wild.
So kooky, it's creepy.
Yes.
It definitely has some Donnie Darko vibes too
Yes.
that I'm digging a lot, because that movie is still great. I don't care what anyone says.
Losing control.
Oh, that looks amazing.
I also just love the fact that it's an actor, because living in Los Angeles, you have those actors that are like, I'm going to take any part I can and I'm going to make it the best it can be. And so I could totally see an actor being like, I may just be a person in a suit selling this toy, but I will make it the greatest performance of my life.
They take it so seriously. They're like, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to bring this character to life. Yeah, that's actually really fun for us. Yeah, I'm really looking forward
So
to
that
that.
one comes out December 7th, so that's next Friday. So probably the week after that will be when we
Yay.
can figure out when we're going to do that.
So we can talk about the Christmas one in December. What I like so much is that they all seem so different. They all have very, very different feels, very different vibes. The first one was we talked about it was very almost comical. This one was definitely more character driven.
Yeah.
This next one, we'll see, but I'm really excited for it. Yeah, so I guess we'll figure out a time for...
Yeah, they're all their individual little movies, which is nice. Like, I love that they're calling them movies. They're not, like, they are episodes in a season, but they're not.
Yeah. They're just little miniature, like, hour-and-a-half movies, which I actually think is the perfect time, especially for this sort of genre.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't wait. I only have 1 week, guys. It's not that long. So we'll, I guess we'll announce coming up when we pick a day and a time, hopefully before Christmas.
It'll definitely have to be before Christmas because our studios will be closed the week of Christmas and the week after for New Year's. So we'll have to get it in during that last week that we're open.
Yay. So we're going to have a very scary Christmas. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being in our chat with us. We appreciate you watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Do you want to tell them where they can find you?
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
Expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.